Like when we was driving in the car, 10 people in the one car. People were hanging out the window on the roof, smashing like 60 miles per hour. It was crazy. This door's locked. Kick it open. On the other side, I hit her with the door. I remember when they were calling the awards, the next one for the best fade is...
Welcome to the Better Discipline Podcast.
Life is such a blessing, I can't wait to see the end. And if I keep on pushing info, where the people get the message disrespected. People in the past, it keeps reflecting. If I asked you for the route, would you give me the directions, second chances? But all I really do is second guess.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Better Discipline Podcast. This is episode 1. I'm your host Julian, and on today's episode, we have our very first guest. He goes by the name of Carlo Blends. He's an award-winning barber, as you can see right here. When did you get started?
So I got started back in 2021, 2 years ago. Yeah, it started off in my backyard.
What influenced you to get started?
So what influenced me to get started was, honestly, just I wanted to cut my own hair, basically. So me and my cousin wanted to start cutting our own hair. And we bought like the cheapest clippers you can find on the market. And we was just like, all right. My cousins were like right there watching on the side, right?
Yeah,
and they were like, oh, it's actually not that bad. Like, it looks pretty good. So my cousin actually grabbed his little brother and slammed him down on the tire racks, and he was just like, all right, bro, we finna cut you up. We put trash bags on his neck and everything. He was
forced into it.
Yeah, he was forced. And then, so yeah, we kind of just forced him into it, and then came out all right. Like, I'll send you the picture of what it looked like. It was not that good, but that's how it started. That was the first ever haircut. That cut was the first cut.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
And what were you doing before cutting hair?
So before cutting hair, I was playing baseball at Contra Costa, and I was also working construction too. You know, I was working at a job, and it was overwhelming. I ain't gonna lie. School plus baseball and, you know, work. It was not the easiest, but you know, I just stuck through it, and then I eventually ended up making a big decision on just dropping all those things and pursuing what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Did you ever think about, when you were doing construction, did you ever think about that you'll become a barber? Or that kind of just happened? No,
I never thought I was going to be a barber. I literally, like, still to this day, I did not expect to be here. And honestly, like, it just happened out of nowhere. I remember one time, like, we were basically in my room just watching a 360 Jeezy video.
Okay, yeah.
And then we were just watching it because I just like watching the transformations and stuff like that. Yeah. And then I was like, bro, look, it doesn't even look that hard to cut hair. Like, look how easy he does it. He does it like in 10 seconds. So I was just like, you know what? Let's start cutting our own hair. And
so you were like watching YouTube videos to learn tips and tricks?
Yeah, I was watching YouTube videos like throughout my whole high school. I've always watched YouTube videos on it, but I never wanted to be a barber. That's one thing I always never wanted to be. Cause you know how like you'll be like, oh, like you'll go on social media and be like, oh, he's either a barber or construction worker, you know. Yeah. So I did not want to be a barber. I wanted to be something else, but well, here I am.
And so what made you actually take that step to actually taking being a barber serious?
Not gonna lie, it was hard at first because I didn't know if I was gonna cut hair every day. Like, I remember when I really realized like, oh wow, like I can really be doing this is when my cousin's friends from middle school, like there was a bunch of them that seen their cuts and wanted to get cut by me. I feel like that was a big like motivation for me to keep going and grinding. So, I mean, I didn't have no money because I didn't have no job. I was paying my car at the time. You know, I didn't have money like that. So stimulus checks were around at the time, and once I got my first stimulus check, it was like around like 1,200 or something like that. I cashed out on a tent, like barber chair, barber equipment, got the whole setup with that money, and that's when I knew I was like, yeah, like this is something I see myself doing now, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. And you know, as you've been doing it throughout the years, what could you say are the pros and cons of becoming a barber?
Pros and cons. Pros is definitely like just building connections with a lot of people. You meet a lot of new people every single day. You meet, like, you know, I met you through
we met. I remember first time I went to go get my hair cut with you, if I'm not mistaken, I was getting ready to go to a quinceañera. bro. And yeah, I remember that. I'm not sure if this is the first time we met, but the second time when I went with you, what really stood out to me about you, bro, is that you're very passionate about your work. You're very passionate about your work. You take a lot of time and detail to actually, be able to give the best haircut you can to every single one of your clients. And I remember we were talking about that you found yourself getting closer with God.
Yes.
And I remember you telling me that was a big step in your career and as a person to become the best version of yourself. And I know you have told me that you have influence from Vic Blends, right?
Yeah, Vic Blends, yes.
Yeah. So like, that's really good, bro. That's really, really it's something that we don't often see. That somebody cuts hair and then they become this person where they don't just cut hair, but they're actually having conversation with your clients. You're having conversations to get to know them and actually, get more into detail on a personal level. And I think that's really, really intriguing with you, bro. And that's something that's always stood out to me about you. So, like I said, first guest, very, very happy to have you on here, bro.
Oh, thank you, bro.
What can you say is the hardest part of being a barber?
The hardest part is definitely like having to deal with family, friends, and like that don't use the app. You know what I'm saying? Like, or people that don't use the app in general is hard because they're constantly flooding you with messages.
Oh, that sounds like me.
And like it gets stressful because it's not like it's just one. It's like 10, 20 of them, and it's like it gets overwhelming because you want to cut everybody's hair. But if I'm already working like 9 to 8, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it gets hard because you try to make everybody happy, but people call you weird. Oh, this dude's not trying to cut my hair no more. Like, he's acting weird. I'm gonna just go to somebody else. And it's just like, I mean, I don't mind. It's just
they take it personal.
They take it personal.
Right.
And I'm one person, you know what I'm saying? It's like each haircut's like an hour, 45 minutes. So it's like for me to, I'm not trying to be there till like 5 a.m. cutting everybody's hair every day.
Yeah.
But it's definitely really stressful on that part of the, cutting hair.
Of being a barber. Right. And, at any given point in your career, have you ever thought about giving up being a barber?
Low key, yeah. Why? I have, because there's times where I really think to myself, is this something I see myself doing for the next 20 years? I mean, don't get me wrong. I love cutting hair. I love talking to everybody every day. But there's obviously like, I feel like barbering is just like a beginning step to opening doors for more possibilities. You know what I'm saying? Like open up more doors to a lot more things because one, you build connections with a lot of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? If my car ever breaks down, call my boy up, I know him. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I need a paint job on my car, I know somebody. If I, anything I can think of, it's there because of this job. And I feel like I can use that to grow more than just being a barber. I feel like there's more things in life.
Right. And what can you say that keeps you motivated? Do you think that, actually being able to get that experience to meet new people is what keeps you motivated to keep doing it? Yeah,
so what keeps me motivated is definitely meeting new people, like, because every time they come, they always tell me the same thing. And I appreciate everybody that comes, and they're always satisfied. And they always tell me, like, wow, like, you're different than other barbers. It's like, you talk. The other barbers don't talk to me.
Yeah, they're quiet. They're quiet.
Yeah, so I feel like that motivates me to like, damn, like people come here. It's not just the haircut, people come here to talk. And I feel like, yeah, there be days where I do be grumpy. I ain't gonna lie. And I do be like quiet.
We all have our bad days, bro.
But I try to like, for sure, like have a good mood all the time. And I know I can't do that every single day, but that's definitely like one of the things I try. Like, it's definitely something that motivates me to keep going every day.
Yeah, you stay positive as much as you can. What traits of discipline do you need to be successful? Meaning that what do you have to do on a day-to-day basis to be able to still cut hair, to be able to wake up and do the job, to be able to, go back to sleep and knowing that the next day you have to get up and do the same thing?
Like what you have to be like consistent at, right? Like something you have to do.
Like what is something that you have to consistently keep doing?
So I feel like you have to consistently. Yeah, I feel like you have to consistently be in a good mood to deal with everybody. I feel like you have to constantly be able to like know that somebody new is gonna come and expect like them to be like, because there is some picky people, like, you know. So I feel like sometimes there's new people that come that I don't even know, and they're like really picky, and I'm like, you know, I kind of like get stressed out a little bit, but I feel like you you gotta deal with that in a way and be ready to deal with that every day. And I feel like, yeah, just going into a new day
And waking up
and
positive.
waking up positive is like
Right.
the best thing you can do.
The best thing you can do. Okay. And so we obviously have this amazing trophy here. Tell us a little bit how you won this trophy, or what is the trophy for exactly?
So this trophy is for best fastest fade. So I did the fade in 10 minutes, and it was the best fade out of, like, you know, the people that were competing in that category. So, and I ain't gonna lie, there was some pretty big names at that place. I ain't gonna lie.
So that made you nervous,
It
right?
made me nervous because the person that I actually watched,
Okay.
360 Jeezy,
Yeah.
he was there,
Competing for the same thing.
but not competing though.
Oh,
his
okay.
his I think it was his, I don't know, nephew or cousin, but he's always with him. His name is Wavy Kid Kev, but he has like over like 20K on Instagram.
Oh wow, so he's
so
known.
He's known, and he was competing for the same thing, and I was really nervous because this is like my first time competing, so I didn't know what to expect. So when I was there, I just remember like just doing it. Like I remember like the timer going off like 3, 2, 1, and then I don't know where everyone's like moving quick, and I'm just like, okay, I need to go quick. And then out of nowhere, like I remember like I was so scared to like leave cuts on his neck because a lot of people were like bleeding from like how
Yeah.
fast people were trying to go.
Right.
And I didn't. And I was like, after I finished that cut, I remember going to the back and I was just like, oh, like, God, like, please, like, I need to win this.
Right.
And then I was just talking to this guy and he was just like, hey, bro, you got this, you know, like, just relax. And I remember when they were calling the rewards, you know, they were like, all right, the next one for fastest fade, the best fade is Carlos. But they didn't say Carlos Blends. They said Carlos. And I was just like, I don't know if that's me. So I'm just sitting there waiting. And the lady's like, hey, where's Carlos at? He don't want his trophy or what? And then everyone's like, go. And I'm just like, okay. And then so I started running up there. I'm like trying to get on stage, but like there was like fences that blocked it. So I had to go around and the door was locked. So I couldn't get up there. And the lady's like, just like, hey, where he at? And then I was just like, this door's locked. And I'm like, so I kick it open. And there's a girl on the other side, and I hit her with the door. And I remember I was just like, she's like, excuse you? And I'm like, I just didn't even say nothing. I just said my bad. I just kept running up, and I was just so excited. Like,
I think that's what we would have done. It was such a surreal moment for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could only imagine, you know, the adrenaline and the excitement that you felt in that moment.
Yeah, my heart was beating.
And when you received the trophy, did you look back to how you were cutting in the tent in the beginning?
Yeah, I'm actually like, I ain't gonna lie, like that really, I remember like when me and my little cousin, his name is Brian, and I remember the whole way home, we were literally slapping like the victory music. Like we were just like, yo, we did it. We were just dabbing each other up the whole way home. We were just smashing. Like, yeah, I just felt like, it felt amazing, you know. It felt cool, and then to look back, it really like touched me because, like, you know, yeah, like you basically started from nothing, and it's like to be winning a trophy is like, it really does, like, you know.
Yeah, it really does give you more motivation and dedication to be able to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what advice can you give for anybody who would like to get started to actually becoming a barber?
To, you know, just don't quit, because I've known thousands, like hundreds of people that told me the same thing. Like they want to start, and they're really motivated, and then they just quit out of nowhere. Like, you know, they come back like a month or two later, and I tell them like, hey bro, how's cutting going? And they're just like, nah, I want to do something else. I'm like,
right.
You know, so I feel like just staying consistent, that's literally it. Just staying consistent and just keep doing what you're doing, because eventually you're gonna get good. You know what I'm saying? Eventually you're gonna get people. You're gonna get more and more people, and that's just how it has to be. Like, you know, I was 8 months. I ain't gonna lie, 8 months with no clientele. Literally just like my cousins, and that's it. And then once I finally got like the first 2 people that were like new, that's when it really took off. Like, you know, and also too, you gotta take risks. You know, I was really shy. I was really camera shy, but I had actually made a video where I went out on to the street and I cut a homeless hair.
I saw that. Yeah.
So I feel like I didn't even know how to cut hair. I ain't gonna lie, like I didn't even know how to. But I went out and did it, you know, and I feel like that really like got me a lot of recognition as well. It has like almost 1 million views, and I remember like these guys from actually like 45 minutes away. I think they're from like, I don't know, Petaluma or something. They're pretty far, but he literally came all the way out here for a cut, and I was, oh no, I still remember the day when this guy came all the way from Berkeley. It was raining. My tent was coming apart. Like, I'm talking about, like, there was water pouring on my head, my clippers.
There was no way for you to cut hair that day.
I was literally telling him, like, I can't, bro. He's like, bro, just cut me. I trust you, bro. I remember, like, there was literally the tent was, like, falling down. And I remember, like, every 10 minutes, I would have to push the water up. You know what I'm saying? Because, it would get caught. And he still trusts me. And still to the day he comes to me, and I still respect that dude. I'm pretty sure if he's watching this, I'm pretty sure he knows who this is. So
that's really cool, man. I also think that being a barber, you have to be really passionate about it.
Yeah.
I think you're very passionate about it. That's like I said, you can obviously tell on the videos you make. By the way, doing a great job marketing yourself on Instagram and really posting as many videos as you can. It looks clean. It looks professional. You're making a name for yourself. You're definitely well known around the Bay Area because, it's always booked on your app.
Yeah.
Always. And so I always text you and I'm like, hey, bro, when can you cut my hair? And then you're like, I'm busy, bro. I don't know. And, you know, it's okay. It's okay. That's understandable. But I feel like some people, they want to cut hair, but they're not passionate about it.
Yeah.
So then they give up. You know, if they can't see, you know, progress within the first 2-3 cuts, they're like, oh, maybe this is not for me. You know? So like you started and you obviously weren't the best in the beginning. What kept you dedicated?
Honestly, I don't know. I would just the progress, because I ain't gonna lie, I would record a lot of like I have a lot of pictures, and I would just post it on my Instagram story, and then I would put who wants to cut next or something like that. And I remember putting a poll, yes or no, and I remember it was a majority saying no. But there was a couple people saying yes, and like obviously those were my family and stuff like that. But like honestly, just seeing the progress, like, because like at first, it wasn't the best, but over time I just started, like, you know, 3 months in, I look back, I'm like, wow, like it's a lot better, and just 3 months after that, it's just a lot better, and just seeing that progress, you know,
just kind of show.
Yeah, and honestly, like the support a lot of people give me, like you know, all the time. Every time somebody will get a haircut, they'll always tag me. And I appreciate everybody that tags me, and you know, like just shows a lot of love, because like that's honestly like the reason why a lot more people come. Like every time somebody new that comes, they're like, oh bro, I found your page, you know, somebody recommended me from this school, somebody told me to come here, and they always leave satisfied, you know.
That's exactly how I found you as well. My best friend Armando, your cousin, right?
Yeah, my cousin.
Yeah, he's the one who told me, hey, go get cut by Carlos, bro. That's my cousin. He'll hook you up. And it was a squeeze-in. Yeah. The first time that you cut my hair was a squeeze-in, like I said. And I remember after that, I was like, oh, man, he has to cut my hair from here and on, because you did an amazing job, and conversation was good. But like I said, you're always booked. And I cannot express that enough. And like, I'll go onto Booksy, right? I'll go onto Booksy, and I see that you're booked into like a month or 2 in advance, and I'm like, whoa, like what is this man doing?
It's crazy, because I remember like when I was only booked, like I wasn't even booked, right? I remember this guy, he would come from Stockton or something, and he was the first client I ever had. But I remember he telling me, like, he used to get cut by his barber, and he would be booked, like, for a month. And that's why he stopped going to him, right? And I was like, wow, like, I'll never get there. I literally said that to myself, I'll never get there, like, a month in advance. Like, I don't think I'll ever get there. And then, I don't know, it just, over time, it just started happening. Like, I don't know why. I feel like it's because, like, of the prices, too. I feel like it's really, like, affordable to a lot of people. So I feel like, and I'm going to keep it that way. I feel like
that's a major thing, actually.
Because I have a lot of people that obviously, like, don't work that come to me. And I feel like that's fair, you know?
Yeah. Right. And no, that's honestly true. Another thing is that, you know, I've gone to different barbers, and most of the time I'm thinking, you know, probably an average price. And then when they tell me their price, I'm just shocked. I'm like, really? For this taper, that much? And I'm just like, you know, it is what it is. You know, at the end of the day, I know I'm paying for the scale. I know I'm paying for the, you know, for the materials you use, and for the, you know, everything that involves becoming a barber. I know that's why they set those prices. But with you, it's very interesting, because you have such a good price range where it's so affordable for anyone like myself, or anyone who probably doesn't work, to just go get a haircut. And I think that's a very good thing, which is why you always keep lots of clientele booked, and you keep your schedule very busy, because, like I said, one, you're passionate, you do a great job. Two, you're very affordable. And three, you know, you're doing really good in the Bay Area. That's the number one thing. I know people who get cuts twice a week. You know? Like that's interesting. I'm just like, man, and I know that being a barber actually does take a lot of skill. So you being able to still work with your price range and be able to maintain yourself, it's impressive. It's very, very impressive. And with all that being said, what do you have planned for yourself in the future?
That's what I was thinking about. I don't know, because, like, there's times where I do say, like, do I want to be a barber for the rest of my life? I don't know. Like, one thing I definitely want to be doing is open up, like, a shop. I want to get, like, a shop. I know it's, like, I know a lot of barbers cut from home now and they want to work at a shop, but, like, I feel like I just want a shop for me, though. Like, you know, like, somewhere where, like, people can come and hang out at. Because I know my shop's not the biggest, but, like, you know, I want to have, like, a pool table in there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, a big TV, speakers, and it's just somewhere I could actually play music loud without having to worry about, like, you know, if I'm bothering anybody, or, you know, just have space in general, because, you know, a lot of people come in and it's just, like, they get really crowded in like, the seating area, but...
Yeah. And so, like you said, you want to get a shop in the future, and do you plan on cutting for the rest of your life, or do you kind of just want to be able to have a barbershop, have it run itself, and you know, you'll cut whenever you're available?
I feel like I'm gonna cut hair for the rest of my life, but I just don't think I'm gonna be doing it full time.
I see.
I want to do it like you know, just
to have more you know, freedom.
Yeah,
in
more
a way.
Freedom. Yeah, like you know, like, hopefully in the future own a house, own businesses. You know, like, I don't want to just stick to one income. You know, I want to expand and stuff like that. So
be able to invest into you know, be able to invest into yourself, into your business, into having, you know, steady income where you don't necessarily have to wake up every day, like you said, but have a you know, have it all figured out in a way.
Yeah.
What are some goals that you want to accomplish for your future?
Okay, so definitely first goal is buy a house. No, I want to reach 100K first. I want to get 100K first. I feel like that's the hardest thing to do. That is, like, my goal.
100K.
So, like, I heard your first 100K is always the hardest. After that, it's easy because you have money to play with. You know, you can invest in whatever you want, and that's up to you. I don't want to have it just sitting there, though. I want to actually, like, use it and stuff like that. So that's my goal in the future, just to get my first 100K, and that's...
What can we expect for you in the future? Do we see you winning more trophies, more awards, going to more competitions?
I was low-key thinking of that, because I took a break off of it, because I don't know. I just feel like like it's cool, but I don't know. It doesn't like really do nothing for me. I don't know. Well, actually, I mean it's nice, but I think I am gonna like try a couple more times and see where it goes from there. Cause it's really cool communicating with a lot of barbers out there, you know. But there's also a lot of barbers that really don't care. You know, they're just there for the trophy, and if they don't win, they just leave. You know, they don't sit and watch other people cut hair. They just, you know,
they're not as passionate about it.
Yeah, they just want the trophy, and if they don't win, they just dip. So
right. As a barber, what standards do you set for yourself? Like, do you want to be the best in doing fades? Do you want to be the best in doing tapers, lineups? You know.
Honestly, I want to actually exceed at the service. Like, I want to get better at the service. I ain't gonna lie, cause I want to eventually like be able to like wash your hair, like, you know, wash hair, like, you know, like face massages and like the black mask and all that. I want to do all those things, and I feel like I can't do it with the small space I got. But like,
you want to get to that level.
Yeah,
you
the service. I want to.
Where your service is excellent.
Yeah.
5-star every time.
Yeah.
I mean, it already is 5-star, man. Trust me. Like, I know your reviews are really good on Booksy and everything. You know, your comment section's always filled with nothing but fire emojis and all sorts of stuff. And you know, that's the number one thing that us looking for a barber, we always look for. We always go to the Instagram page and we look at the comments, we look at the cuts, we look at the designs. You know, we go to Booksy's, we look at the review. And that's something that you're excelling in, man. That, like I said, that's something that really stands out. Well, bro, with all that being said, how can people find you on social media? And how can they book? Where can they find you at?
All right, so just go to my Instagram. It's Carlos Blends. It's Carlos with a Z and then Blends with an S. And it has a link in the bio. It just says book now. And then you can just go on there on Booksy and then just, you know, just book it. And it's so easy to book. All you got to do is press what you want. So just haircut. And then it just shows you the dates and when I'm available.
It's easy as that.
Easy as that. So when people tell me, like, are you available today? I'm just like, I don't know.
check the Booksy. Check my schedule. Yeah. It's right there.
And that's how I'm like, whatever. I know they're asking for a squeeze in, but like, you know, I mean, I see if I'm available. I don't know.
Right. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience? Some words of motivation? You know, people out there who want to become a barber. What do you have to say to them?
All right, so if you want to become a barber, just stay consistent. Don't give up. Don't just say, like, that goes with anything in life. You know what I'm just saying? Like, don't just talk about it. Actually, like, what are you actually doing when nobody's watching to improve out what you're doing, you know? Like,
you have to be able to discipline yourself.
Yes. Very disciplined. You have to be very disciplined. I feel like I gained that a lot through, I feel like sports. I feel like sports really taught me a lot of discipline.
Right.
I feel like you have to be really patient and, you know.
Yeah, time will tell, and you got to be very dedicated in your skill and being able to know that you're not going to get it on the first try, the second try, the third try. You got to actually put in the work, right? Okay. Well, thank you, Carlos Blends. Thank you, everyone, for watching, for tuning in on the first episode with our first guest, award-winning barber right here, Carlos Blends. He already said you can go find him on Instagram. You can book with him on Booksy. Everything is in his bio. Make sure you go tune in. And thank you, man. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being on the first episode.
Man, nah, for real. Thank you for inviting me because, like, this is honestly like really cool, and it's a nice ass spot. So
thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm working on it. I was actually trying to get everything ready for you, and then so I'm announcing this right now.
Yeah.
My next guest is Bada Bag Cairo.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming on.
For real?
He's coming on, man. So
that's my boy.
I've been listening to all his songs, and I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's a lot of songs on that new album he just released.
Yeah.
That they really do give off the Bay Area vibe.
No, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of the, you know, Battle Back Anthem. You know, there's a lot of them that I've seen. I ain't gonna lie. That was a slapper.
Battle Back Anthem. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I've listened to 1, 2, 3. I've listened to Alone. Good Morning is a good one. And he's really definitely leaving his mark in the Bay Area. He has a unique style, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think he has a cool style. Like it's chill,
Right.
like super like I don't know. It's cool though.
Yeah. It's like you're able to really like connect with the vibe of the song. I think I saw you on the music video for About a Bag Anthem, right?
Yeah, I was in that music video.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, he had invited me, and yeah, it was like, it was dope. Like, you know, and it was really fun. Like recording that video, everyone was just, you know, like just dancing and everything, and I feel like it was so fun. Like honestly, like that was like one of the funniest things I've ever done. Like, especially because like when we was driving in the car, there was like 10 people in the one car.
Yeah.
And some people were hanging out the window, some people on the roof,
man,
and they were
crazy.
smashing like 60 miles per hour. It was crazy.
Dang.
I ain't gonna lie. But it was fun though, I ain't gonna lie. And what made you want to start a podcast?
What made me want to start a podcast?
Yes.
Well, I've been watching a lot of podcasts, as in watching Chisme with Duno, watching Raw Talk with Bradley Martin. You know, I've been watching a lot of Augusto Papa. I don't know if you've heard of them. But so as I'm watching all these podcasts, what I notice is like every single podcast brings different influence, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I had a printing business.
Yeah.
I had a printing business.
Yeah.
I remember making decals for you. Mm-hmm. And so I've always been an entrepreneur. Always. I've always liked to talk about business. I've always liked to talk about entrepreneurship. I've always had conversations with other people about how they can excel in their business and be able to grow and, you know, keep being successful. So I wanted to make this podcast where I bring influence from different entrepreneurs and different business owners and influencers to come onto the podcast and be able to give their story of how they got started, be able to give, you know, words of advice, you know, be able to motivate the audience, because I know there's a lot of people who want to take the risk of becoming a business owner, but they don't know how to get started, or they don't know what it takes, or they don't actually know, you know, what they have to go through in order to be successful, right? So this podcast is aiming to everyone who wants to become successful as an entrepreneur, as an influencer, as a business owner, you know, and be motivated after the guests come on here and talk about what they have to go through, right? And it shows because just how you explained to us that you started off in a tent and now, you know, you have your own setup and everything, you know, you're booked 1 month in advance, 2 months in advance. You know, there's people calling you to get in, squeeze in, and that's what it takes. It takes time in order to grow successful. And not a lot of people pay attention to that. They see the business, they see it doing great, and they're like, okay, let me copy everything they're doing. And it doesn't work for them. And the difference between them and the business actually succeeding is, you know, what they have to go through behind it. You know, being able to wake up every single day early in the morning, you know, getting to work, be able to discipline themselves to be able to wake up to their alarm and, you know, get things done. And that's why I call this podcast the Better Discipline Podcast, because I think there's three type of people. There's There's people who lack discipline, right? Who don't wake up on time to their job, who don't wake up on time for school, and, you know, they really just go off their day based off their feelings, right? That's the person that lacks discipline. And then there's the disciplined. The disciplined are the ones who have, you know, that 9 to 5 job. They have that schedule booked in and they kind of follow that, but they're not really taking their own route. They're kind of going as their schedule, how other people tell them to go through it, right? And then the third person is the better disciplined, the entrepreneurs, the influencers, and the business owners, the ones who need to get up on their own and go get it done on their own because they have no one to tell them what to do. You know, they're entrepreneurs. They're, you know, they're self-made business owners, self-made influencers. And that's why I call this podcast the Better Discipline Podcast, because every single guest that I'll have on this podcast is showing better discipline.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole reason why I wanted to start this podcast. It's a lot to take in, but I hope you understood it.
Nah, I did.
Right. Well, like I said, thank you for coming. Thank you for being able to record this. I know it was last minute.
Not yet.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all good.
I'm trying to be more organized, but, you know, I had some time today, and I was like, let me text him, see if he has time. And, you know, I'm glad we were able to get this done. Yeah, I honestly can't wait to see who tunes in and, you know, supports it. I really hope they watch this whole video. And if you're watching up until now, I want you to comment this emoji in the comments and stay tuned for next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Life is such a blessing, I can't wait to see the end. And if I keep on pushing info, where the people get the message disrespected. People in the past that keeps reflecting. If I asked you for the route, would you give me the directions, second chances? But all I really do is second guess.